going on, guys, and welcome back to BSP's Blocked List presented by Couch Guy Sports. I believe this is episode 7 or 8, maybe. I'm not too sure. But I'm Brianna, also known as BSP, and my job is to take you through all the stories I'm following and all the ones that I'm blocking from the world of Boston sports and beyond. Now, a lot has happened in the last couple of weeks in between shows. Most importantly, Cam Newton was announced as the Patriots starting quarterback for week 1. Not really a big surprise, but it's just nice to know that we finally have an answer. I feel like we've been going back and forth with it for the last couple of weeks thinking, oh, well, we all know Cam's going to be the starter, but what if? But with everything that's happened in camp, he ended up taking the majority of the reps and Stidham kind of slowly faded out into the second string. It's Cam's job, and I am excited to see what he can do. He's without a receiver, though. Mohamed Sanu had been released, kind of an unexpected thing. Apparently, he had a really bad camp, and it came down to money, which is understandable, but I feel like it's important for Cam to have some sort of veteran presence in that receiving core besides Julian Edelman, and I think Mohamed Sanu would have been that guy. I think he would have been a really good fit with Cam. Obviously, I'm not the coach. I don't make those decisions, and there's probably a good reason for that. But he's out, and it is looking like N'Keal Harry's wide receiver 2, and it's a great sign for Gunner. And hopefully with all of this cap space, they're able to figure out maybe a trade, maybe a trade, because there's really not much else to do. Over to hockey, the Boston Bruins were eliminated from the Stanley Cup playoffs in this weirdo bubble season. They lost in 5 games to the Tampa Bay Lightning after what was a great Game 1 victory for them. It was a gentleman's sweep. They got their butts kicked. And it's gonna be interesting to see what dynamic is changed in the offseason. Based on comments from Torrey Krug, he's as good as gone, which is devastating, at least to me. But in his end of season press conference, he pretty much flat out said that he has not had any conversations about an extension or re-signing with the Bruins. And that's just, it sucks. It sucks. He's one of your core guys, and I think he's deserving of a long-term contract, and he's always said that he wants to retire a Bruin. He wants to finish his career here. I would love if they were able to get that done, but as of right now, it's not looking too good. Same thing with Zdeno Chara. When you watch the handshake line in that Game 5, Doc Emmerich was just singing his praises like he was riding off into the sunset and there was no more. But apparently he wants to stay. He still feels like he's got, enough in the tank, and he can continue to play at a high level despite being how old he is. And that's obviously something we've seen before with Tom Brady. I know 2 different sports, 2 different tolls on the body. But if Z is able to play at least 1 more year, I know it's not the popular opinion amongst Bruins fans, but I want him back. He doesn't have to be, the first D pair guy. You can move him down to 3 if you want and cut his ice time. But I still think if you can bring him back for $1 million for a season, you have to do it. Now, our other team that is in the playoffs, the Boston Celtics, are just playing out of their minds, and they very well should be 7-0 in these playoffs right now. If it weren't for OG Anunoby's miracle 3-point shot to win the game the other night with 5.5 seconds left to go, completely unguarded in the corner. It was a fluke. Nobody really could have seen it coming. He obviously had comments after the game where he said, yeah, I obviously knew I was going to make it. I wasn't going to shoot that shot thinking I wasn't, which, yeah, you would hope, your guy would say that, but the Celtics should have won that game. So it's a 2-1 series. I'm genuinely surprised that they're playing this well without Gordon Hayward. I knew that they would be able to, maybe not as much as they are right now, but it's a pleasant surprise to me to see them be able to fill that gap with the minutes that would have been Hayward's. It's freaking awesome to see Robert Williams get all these minutes, and he's played great. I mean, there's no other way to put it. He's played awesome. it's just the one fluke in game 3 where, Jaylen Brown owned up to it. He kind of beat himself up for it too, which kind of doesn't, sit well with me, because I feel like he's one of those guys that, like, when he's playing super well, he's in that right mentality, but then that one mess up will stick in his brain and it'll just, kind of mess everything else up. And I'm hoping that's not the case, because both Jays, but Jaylen Brown has been playing great since entering the bubble. And it's one thing that I want him to, just completely get past, because if it fucks with his mental, then that's not good. And as always, the Boston Red Sox still suck. They, made some trades at the deadline. Kevin Pillar is gone, thankfully. I wasn't happy that he was on the Red Sox to begin with, especially after his comments a couple weeks ago, where he's pretty much said that it's not, it was like an all lives matter comment. And I'm not going to get into that, on the show, because I talked about that last week in replacement of the show. But that comment, like, it didn't sit well with me, and it didn't sit well with anybody that I know who's a Red Sox fan. So seeing him go, that's fine. Whatever. Happy trails. It's a little concerning to me, though, that the pitcher they got from Philly, that they traded Workman and Hembry for, is hurt and isn't really doing anything. I feel like that, it's the one thing you don't want. And obviously it happened, because it's 2020, and what else could fucking happen? That's bad luck for literally anybody. I mean, we'll see. They're already starting to call up guys from Pawtucket. Bobby Dahlbeck is up already, hit a home run in his very first Major League at bat, which is awesome. But I think I've gotten to the point where I am excited that baseball is almost over, because it's a season I think we would all hope to soon forget. And as for stories I'm blocking, I think I only have one this week, and it goes back to the Bruins. Just seeing a lot of people try to come up with reasons why they lost, and there's this one that's really been sticking out that I've seen a few times, that it's just no, I don't agree with it. And I think if you are someone who's saying this, you're kind of just looking for somewhere to place blame, but like, no. So I've seen a few times, more than a few actually, I would like to say at least from 10 separate people, that part of the reason why the Bruins lost that series versus Tampa is because Yara wasn't ready, and it's Tuukka Rask's fault for pulling the shit that he did and leaving the bubble, and Yara wasn't ready to take over the starting position. Well, my friends, I would just like to point out that as a backup goalie, it's literally your job to be ready whenever you're called upon. So that's, out the window. That excuse is bullshit. Also, it's not like Tuukka just up and left after game 1 of the Tampa series. Yaro finished an entire series, went 3-0, mind you, and then started a new series, clean slate, with him as a starter for game 1. So to say that the reason why the Bruins lost the Tampa series was because of Tuukka Rask leaving the bubble, opting out, is wrong. And like I said, if you're looking to place blame on someone, it's not him, because he had nothing to do with that series. I could see even that would be wrong, but to give you guys a little bit of, the benefit of the doubt, I could see if he pulled the whole opting out thing in the middle of the Tampa series against a juggernaut like they are. Yara wasn't ready. But again, it's your job as a backup goalie to be ready to go in whenever you're needed. That's the job of a backup. It's a backup quarterback, backup wide receiver. You have to be ready at all times. I feel like I shouldn't need to have to explain this, and the fact that I do is a little annoying. But I don't know. I don't know what you guys are thinking. So that's the only story I think I need to block this week. We need to realized that the Bruins as a whole pretty much played like crap in that Tampa series. Had nothing to do with Yarrow not being ready, had nothing to do with Tuukka Rask opting out. The series before, it had to do with they played like crap. They got absolutely beat up, outplayed by a team that's better than them. It's okay to say that. It's okay to say that Tampa is the better team. I may not like them. I may think that they're full of whiny bitches who have their gloves glued to their hands. But they are the better team. They're the better scoring team. They're the better physicality team. They're the better speed team. They're just overall better. And they have the better goalie. I mean, obviously, it's Andrei Vasilevskiy and Jaro Halak. You know, any day of the week and twice on Sunday, I would take Vasilevskiy. The Bruins lost. Whatever. It was a weirdo freaking year. You can't expect them to be in the same place that they were before this whole lockdown happened. I know I was upset after the fact and I said, you know, the two teams are night and day. And yeah, obviously that's true. But I don't know. So just like, I can't wait for like a solid 2 months of not hearing about Tuukka Rask. I can't wait for it. So please, I'm begging you, just drop it, because what happened, and there's literally nothing you can do about it. So, and finally, in place of Who's Mad this week and mailbag questions, I gave you guys the responsibility of naming my fantasy football team for this year because my brain doesn't really function like that. I am not the best at creativity. Well, I guess that's not true. I think I'm, pretty creative. Funny as all hell, I know that much. But for some reason, I always have a problem when it comes to naming my fantasy football team. So whatever, I gave you guys that opportunity, made a little competition out of it. The winner is gonna end up coming on the show. We're gonna figure it out where whoever wins this is able to come on the show. We can talk about, everything that's happening in the football world at the time. We can talk about fantasy. We can most likely laugh at what's happening in my fantasy football life because it's usually a shit show in the most painful ways, as are most things in my life, but that's fine. We're not going to talk about that. So I don't remember who exactly said this because there were a few entries of the same thing. So I'm going to have to go back and look to see the names of the people that tossed this idea out there and then just do a randomizer, and whoever Google randomizer picks is the winner, the official winner. I don't think having co-winners is going to be possible, but so I have Saquon Barkley on my team, and it's in typical me fashion, I picked the most childish and inappropriate one out there. Last year, I had Josh Gordon on my team, and my team name was Flash Your TDs, which is a boob joke, in case you were unaware. It's a joke about boobs, okay? Get your laughs out, I know. This year, because I have Saquon, he was my number 2 pick overall, because I had the number 2 pick in the draft. That's how that works. Anyway, so Saquon. My team name is going to be Saquon D's Nuts. And I'm 4 years old because I can't say that without laughing. But that's the team name I'm going to pick. All the Adam Thielen related ones were good, but I feel like I'm not really a big fan of that guy. I just kind of, figured with no Stephon Diggs in Minnesota anymore, he's going to get double the workload. So he was an easy pick for numbers. And that's the only reason why I drafted him. I do not like him whatsoever. But you got to do what you got to do to win. But I didn't want to name my team after him. And Russell Wilson's kind of a dork, and I really didn't want to name my team after him either. So, Saquon D's Nuts. That's the team name. I know there was like 3 or 4 people that suggested it, so I'm gonna, like I said, gonna have to go back and find who, and then do a randomizer, and I will tweet at the winner from, the podcast account, and just hope and pray that I don't lose this league by like 0.8 points like I did last year because Drew Brees forgot Jared Cook existed in the second half of the game. So, yeah. I say it every year, fantasy football ruins my life, and every year I come back and I put myself through it again, and if that's not an accurate representation of me as a person, I don't know what is. So yeah, that's that. Saquon D's Nuts is the winner. And that is episode 8, maybe. Change of scenery. I know it looks a little weird. This isn't how it's gonna stay. I am visiting my mom and dad, so I am downstairs in my old office. My mom is getting ready for a tag sale, so everything is like a mess. If I had it my way, I would have moved and shot over there where my framed signed Tom Brady jersey is. But obviously, you know, I don't live here anymore, so I don't really get a say. And also, we are moving the show. Not sure if everybody saw my tweet. We are moving the show to Saturdays just because I am going to be a little bit more busy in my life. So shooting on Thursdays and dropping on Fridays isn't going to be possible. So we're just pushing everything back a day. So I'm going to be shooting on Fridays, and the show should be dropping around noon to 2 o'clock-ish on Saturdays from now on, which I think is easier to get. I mean, people have Saturdays off. It gets more views for me, and it's all about the numbers, baby. So, as always, BSP's block list on Twitter. I would say keep an eye out next Friday for the new show, but now it's going to be next Saturday. So keep an eye out next Saturday. We've got football next week, which is fucking incredible. Can't wait. There's going to be so much to talk about after, you know, the Texans and Chiefs game and leading up to the Pats' first game of the season against Miami, and I'm very, very excited. Hopefully we get another Celtics playoff series win under our belts in that time span. But we'll just have to wait and see. So I will talk to you guys next week. And as always, make sure you have that block button handy. You never know when you're going to need it.